And this should be the last video. We're doing 2.9, and I'm just going to work through, and at any point you get confused, you might want to just stop the video, pause the video, see what you know, what you don't know, what you can work out on your own, and then be ready to come to class with questions. So whenever you see the left and right end behavior, you should be writing as x approaches negative infinity what the function is doing. So I'm just setting up the problem. I am not actually answering it. And what you should be looking for, and your justification should be, it's an odd degree with a negative leading coefficient. And that should be enough to say, okay, well, as x goes infinitely to the left, the function goes infinitely up. As x goes infinitely to the right, the function goes infinitely down. And on the next part, if f of x is divided by a factor of x minus 2, what will the remainder be? Well, before you even do that, you better figure out what k is in the problem. So that would involve some scratch work. Oh, I guess you don't need what k is, because that's actually the next letter. And it's all based off of the remainder theorem. So remember, the remainder theorem is looking at that and saying, well, this is the same as x equals 2. And when you get a remainder of 0, that means that x equals 2 is a 0, which means that x minus 2 is a factor, which is a fancy way of saying that the remainder will be 0. If you're confused by that, I would tell you to go back to the remainder theorem. The notes on the remainder theorem is 0. And if your justification was something about by the remainder theorem, I would know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, if you forget the remainder theorem, it's saying that the remainder, when you divide by a factor, will be equal to the number if you were to plug in f of 2. So now we should be ready to find the value of k. And in that sense, you can plug into synthetic to k4, and you should get a remainder of 0. So I'm just doing the synthetic, multiplying, adding and multiplying. And remember, as you add down, negative 8 plus 4 would be negative 4 is equal to 0. So add 4 and divide by 2, and you'd find that k equals 2. So now that we know that, we can actually just plug in 2 right there. So now we're left with a quadratic that's negative 2x squared minus 2x. If I plug in 2 right there, minus 4 is negative 2 is equal to 0. And I can find the rest of the roots by factoring out a negative 2, x squared plus x plus 1. And this is not factorable, so I'm going to go to the quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You may have forgotten, but I tend to ignore this negative 2 in front once I factor it out, but it's technically still there. It's just not affecting how I get 0, because I could divide it over, and 0 divided by anything is still 0. So my final answer, I would leave as negative 1 plus or minus I root 3, because 1 minus 4 is negative 3, all over 2. Those are your remaining zeros, as well as this 0 we found earlier, x equals 2. Again, pause this at any point. Try it on your own. If you have questions, you might want to jot them down or email me, or be ready to ask questions when you come back to class. And then we have one more type of problem, and finding h of x. Now remember, when we have a problem like this, all of our imaginary roots occur in pairs, and its complex conjugate I don't think we've talked about that yet. It's called the conjugate when you do the opposite. So what I'm talking about is if 2i, I need to be careful on how I say this, because the complex number is 1 plus bi, its complex conjugate is the real part stays the same and you negate the imaginary part. So this number that we're looking at, 0 plus 2i, I was technically right to say that its complex conjugate is just the opposite, negative 2i, but that's because the real part, 0, stayed the same. Because that might show up on the free response that you have to do in the homework. So what that means is we have a cubic polynomial, because you can't just have a root that is one imaginary. You need to have a second imaginary that pairs with that. And obviously a reason to explain that, I've jotted down some ideas that they need to happen in pairs, and then you have this x equals negative 1. So what that means is we have, for its factors, x plus 1, x minus 2i, and then x plus 2i. Now when we get to the directions on the next question, with integral, that means integer coefficients. So you can't leave this answer in factored form. So what they want you to do is, first of all, it's easiest if you multiply this out first. And what you'll notice is the inside and the outside terms will cancel. So you're looking at x squared plus 2xi minus 2xi, they cancel, and then minus 4i squared. Now there's two things that you should remember from last year. And one of those things is that I squared is equal to negative 1. Well, when you do negative 1 times negative 4, this will turn into plus, and that I squared goes away. And I could go into a long explanation. The easiest explanation for that is if you think about I is equal to the square root of negative 1, well, if you square both sides, the square root will go away. So that's the fastest explanation. So that's a little thought bubble for you. So now you can distribute again, and you're left with x cubed. I would do the inside next, plus x squared. The outside would be plus 4x. And then 1 times 4 would give you 4. And you can verify that this is correct by trying to factor it. And if you factor it, well, you'll just go backwards, and you'll get x equals negative 1, and you'll find x equals plus or minus 2i. Actually, I would encourage you to do that if you wanted to practice. So again, pause the video, try some of these things out, and also try to do the next one, because there's a new premise is that we have x equals 1 has a multiplicity of 2, and then we have this 3 plus I. So let's talk about the complex conjugate then. So 3 plus I is a root. So therefore, there's another root, which is 3 minus I. So x equals 1 has a multiplicity of 2. There's 2 zeros there. I'm hesitating to say x-intercepts because it bounces off the graph there. And then 2 more here, but we're talking about a quartic. Because again, and your reason might be saying the sum of the multiplicities. Sum of the multiplicities plus the pairs of conjugates, complex pairs. And I'll know exactly what you're talking about if you write that down. So what that means is for g of x, we have the factored form x minus 1 being squared, but then you also have the x minus, I like to put it in parentheses, 3 plus I, and x minus 3 minus I. I know students tend to want to distribute that, and I will explain why distributing is not always your friend. I imagine you guys could probably do this part without me explaining, x squared minus 2x plus 1. Just make sure you don't forget to FOIL. I have students forget to FOIL all the time, because this is really x minus 1 times x minus 1. So double check my math is correct here. Let me explain the next one with a lot more work. because I could talk about this and have you distribute and then distribute everything, but all of those i's are going to cancel out. So what's going to happen is as I do minus 3x, and then if I distribute this, it's actually going to be plus xi, but then as I distribute this negative, this x in here, I get minus 3x and then minus xi, and what you should notice is my i's are going away. And now I'm actually ready to just do the last term. Instead of distributing, just do the last term, which is distributing again. A negative times a negative is a positive, so I no longer have to worry about this negative. 3 times 3 is 9. The outside would be minus 3i. The inside would be plus 3i. And then the last would be I times negative I, which is negative I squared. Well, what you notice is these i's go away, and negative I squared is really plus 1. So please, please, please double check my math here. That simplifies to be that. And we're still not done. There's a lot of distributing to go on here. X squared each term. You can probably see why I skipped a little bit. X to the 4th minus 6x cubed plus 10x squared. Now distribute the minus 2x to each one. And I've actually seen some people line these up with your like terms so you're not forgetting anything. That would be plus 12x squared and then minus 20x. And then distribute your 1 to everything. And again, you can see how I can line these up. So as I combine like terms, and my final answer is x to the 4th minus 8x cubed, 10, 22, 23x squared, minus 26x plus 10 is your simplified answer with integer coefficients. And you should be ready for the homework now, which is 4 free response questions. And I actually made a new problem that I am going to share in a separate assignment, but it is ungraded, it is optional, but it will drastically help you on one of the free response questions on the test. So I highly encourage you to do it.